Good morning. I wanted to show you something, and well, here, I'll show you. If you look carefully, you can see the seam of the new sod that's been laid in place here on this patch of grass in the common area, this neighborhood. And the wall behind me, the retaining wall, was rebuilt, restructured in the late fall. And so every night when they finished their project, they would park the heavy machinery on the grass in the common area, and it pretty much did a number on it, right? And so they just relayed the sod last weekend, and they've been watering it every day, and you almost can't see the difference anymore. The sod has blended in perfectly to the rest of the grass. And it makes me think about the ground beneath our feet, the foundation upon which we build our lives, especially our lives of faith. There's another story that a bishop told me years ago, and he shared that there was a contractor who was highly trusted by his clients, well recommended, 5-star contractor, had been in the business for years, and he was famous for apprenticing new contractors. So each summer he would take on young men and young women who were interested in the business and teach them the ropes. I mean, what better way to learn, right? Versus a classroom. You're learning from experienced individuals who are witnessing to you the knowledge they carry in their bones right now. So this young man was part of his apprenticeship one summer. And the man was very impressed with the way the young man was progressing. And so he had another job that he had to go on site and be present for. And so he said to the young man, he said, you know all the subcontractors at this point. You have a basic idea about the floor plan and about the architecture. So I'm going to entrust to you the construction of this home until I get back from the other site. Now, the young man was really honored. He was very impressed and wanted to live up to the standards that this contractor saw in him. So he started working with the subcontractors. They laid the floor, and then they started on the insulation. And he was talking to some of his buddies who were also apprenticing on other sites with other contractors. And he learned from some of them that actually there was a way to build the house more cheaply than the way that this particular contractor went about business. So he started in conferring with his peers. He said, all right, well, we can order different kinds of insulation, not quite the quality, but it's in the wall anyway, so what the heck, no one's going to notice. Same with electrical, same with plumbing. With heating, he used lesser modules than he could have. Ductwork, he cut corners. And he did the same on the walls as they rose to the roof. Finally, the roof was completed, and the original contractor came back to the job site. And he was very impressed with what he saw. He went around with the subcontractors. He talked to them. He asked them what their impressions were of the young man who was apprenticing. And because they got a little bit of the kickback, they kept their mouth closed. So ultimately, when the house was finished, he was so grateful for this young apprentice's model of working together and taking initiative that he decided to call him forward one day. And he said, you know, I've got plans for you. There's some very hopeful business ahead of you because of your growing reputation and the way you finish this home on time, on budget, a little under budget even. Don't know how you did that. He said, but I have something for you. And he reached into his pocket and he pulled out the keys to the home. And he held them in front of the apprentice and he said, here you go. This house is yours. Since you've laid the best foundation, since you've put the best insulation and plumbing and electrical into the walls, you've used the right studs and the right beams, you've laid the right roofing tiles. He said, I'm gifting you this home for your own. This will be a home that you treasure forever. And the young apprentice, with his mouth open, didn't quite know what to say. This home, he knew he would have to keep if he were going to keep the respect of this contractor. The corners he cut now turned around to bite him and to create a dilemma for him where he could have had top-notch plumbing, electrical, insulation. Now he had lesser, a little shoddier work than what he could have done. It just rings so true for me. What foundation are we building for ourselves spiritually? Are we laying the best sod? Are we putting the best possible elements into that foundation that we're building, this structure of faith that we're building in our lives? Of course, we lean on the contractor, heavily on the one who has taught us everything. But ultimately, we live in the home we build. And at the end of our life, we present the keys to the divine. And we say, here, this is what I've made of myself. What are you making of yourself today? Are you putting the best you possibly can into your foundation, into the walls that support the roof of your outreach to the divine? Think about that. Lay the best sod, and you too will reap the benefits.